What the hell happened to Warzone by Jack Frags? Jack Frags, I'm excited to see what he says. Before we even jump into this, I haven't even watched this video. I can almost guarantee you that this is what he's going to say. Or I can tell you what happened to Warzone. Zero innovation whatsoever. They have not changed anything about the game of Warzone since it came out. Nothing has changed. The game has been the same since it literally came out. You do the same stuff. The guns all behave pretty much the same. We still have 3 plate slots. They've changed a little. Oh, you could get a tempered plate. You could have 2 plate slots. Dude, it's like nothing's changed. The map sucks too. Like it's a terrible map. Verdansk was good, and then all the other Warzone maps are just not fun. They just are not fun maps to play on. So that's what happened. I actually do like the new one. The Area 99, I actually do like that one, but it doesn't even feel like a battle royale, you know, because it's a rebirth. You're constantly coming back. There's no real big risk to dying, honestly, because you could just come back. I don't know, dude. I used to grind Warzone. Chat, that's what I started my YouTube channel on. My first ever time streaming was playing Warzone. I grinded Warzone for the first 2 years of my streaming career. And it just, it's not fun anymore, dude. Activision only does something when their player count drops. That is so true, dude. Anyways, that's my take before even pressing play on the video. Jack Frags, what the happened to COD Warzone?
Cast your mind back to March 2020. You may have been one of the many people playing Call of Duty Warzone.
Me,
free to
during
play and
COVID.
a fresh take on the
Peak.
Battle Royale genre, implemented into a gritty Modern Warfare rebooted universe. Many Call of Duty fans experiencing 150
JD is the type of guy to play Warzone. Carson, leave my chat.
intense combat and a second chance at life should you win a brutal 1v1 fight in the gulag, or your teammates gathered enough money to buy you back at the last second while the play space shrinks around you.
Oh, dude, this is bringing me back, bro. I forgot about this.
Allowed you to customize.
Dude, I forgot about a lot of Verdansk areas.
Tweaking and meddling with weapon builds in the gunsmith. The guns felt varied, viable, punchy with realistic function, accurate reloads and more recoil. They sounded incredible. The game was just pure fun and offered a great space to kick back with your friends and have a laugh in a Call of Duty sandbox like never before.
So good.
Skip to January 2025 and things have significantly changed for Call of Duty and Warzone. The situation is not good. The player count is falling. The last time I personally played Warzone was when they released the Area 99 map on November 14th last year. I played about 5 matches in total on that. I made one video and I logged off. All of my real life friends don't play the game anymore. The Milkman doesn't play the game anymore. My content creator friends don't play the game anymore. We don't talk about it at all. There's no desire to play right now. But why and what the hell happened here? Well, in this video...
Dude, I'll admit, when it first came out, I was having fun with it. I was having fun with Area 99. I enjoyed it. It wasn't bad. It certainly isn't a bad map. I enjoy the map a lot. But just something feels off. I hope he kind of touches on it. I hope he touches on it. Something feels off, dude.
I'm going to give some feedback and try to understand and explain what happened. I'm going to keep it as brief as I can, and I'm going to make some assumptions. This is more how I feel. There's going to be some feels over reals here, but everything that I say is based on my experience with this game and from listening to other people's experiences and viewpoints. I'm doing this because I used to love playing Warzone on a daily basis. Now, I don't touch the thing, and I want to see it improve. We'll be discussing some general COD stuff in here too. Now, I want to be clear that I'm also making this video from the perspective of...
Dude, I haven't watched Verdansk gameplay since the Vietnam War, honestly. It's been so long. Wow, dude, it looks good.
I've played almost all of the Call of Duty games on PC in online multiplayer since the very first Call of Duty set in World War II. I was running around Karantan and Stalingrad, fragging out on a 56k modem, having a blast. Before that, it was Medal of Honor Allied Assault. I've seen it all. Things have changed a lot though for Call of Duty since then. I'm also predicting that with COD bringing back Verdansk in March or April this year...
Dude, this is the thing. Their marketing team must suck because I didn't even know. I didn't even know that. So their marketing team has to be a problem too, because I don't even know about these changes coming up.
Bringing back Verdansk in March or April this year, as the rumors go, they are hoping that it's going to reinvigorate the game and the players will come flooding back. However, I don't think this will be the case unless there are significant meaningful changes, as there are many fundamental issues with the current build that will overshadow any nostalgia that will quickly fade away. So 2025 Warzone, what are the problems? We're going to start with gameplay. The current iteration of Warzone as a whole is too complicated, especially for new and returning players. 2020 Warzone was simple, and I've broken this gameplay bit down into sections. First up, we're going to talk about movement. The movement in 2020 Warzone was...
I will agree with that, actually, the movement. The movement is so complex, dude. The Omni movement shit, it's like, it was a marketing tactic for them to sell Black Ops 6, making people think it would be new, and it's just really not, you know? Old Warzone looks so much better than whatever the fuck we have now. Dude, I 100% agree. I don't understand how you can spend the time and money as a company like Activision to make maps that are worse than the first ever map. Actually, I guess this is the second ever map that came out. I guess that's true, because they did have Blackout, but it's worse than the second ever map you've ever created. You spend more time, you spend more money on map design and improving your game just to make it worse. I don't know how, like, you have to try to make it worse. It doesn't make any sense to me.
It was easy to understand and simple to get to grips with for new or existing COD players. 2025 Warzone integrated with Black Ops 6, and it took on the new Omni movement system.
Yeah.
You can now sprint in any direction, dive through the air in any direction, lie on your back and shoot, dive, slide, get up really quick, continue shooting, crouch slide. It has many complexities, leading to unpredictable, frustrating, and confusing firefights.
Well, also just like it gives the sweats more of an advantage, which already, like, Call of Duty needs to understand their typical fan is someone that works a 9 to 5, still really likes Call of Duty, loves to hop on and play for an hour or two if they're lucky to a day. And adding these extra movement mechanics like this legitimately do nothing but make it easier for sweats to just, like, it broadens the skill gap. It makes the skill gap so large. And I like, how are they so blind to who their general audience is, you know? Yes, there are sweats, and that's what ranked is for, but their typical person is a guy that works 9 to 5, maybe he has a kid, and loves playing COD still when he can, loves to kick back and run a few games. The last thing you want is to go onto a game where the more you play, like with this Omni movement, the bigger the skill gap, but you're still playing with someone that can only play for an hour or two a day, you know? I don't know. Does that make sense? I might be stupid. I might be dumb, chat.
While it may have been a fun change of pace for multiplayer in Black Ops 6 on small maps with fast respawns, I feel like it isn't well suited to a Call of Duty Battle Royale experience. Intrinsically linked to this is a severe lack of consistency. This is a big issue. Every year a new COD game releases and they integrate that into Warzone. The result of this is that there's no through line and base understanding for the gameplay, which confuses players. Warzone 2020, basic, easy to understand, and then Cold War releases, guns get quicker, TTK gets quicker, movements faster.
Omni movement at least looks cool, maybe unrealistic, but cool. I agree with that, actually. I like Omni movement to a degree. I think there's been times where I've used Omni movement, like, oh, dude, that was so nice. Like, being able to, like, sprint backwards. Like, you running into an area, you're like, oh my gosh, I see a grenade. You start sprinting backwards. That's pretty cool. And, like, diving in different directions and stuff. But it just gets exploited by these neckbeard sweats that live on Call of Duty and do nothing but play COD all day long. At what point did we get away from just, like, whoever hits the most shots wins the gunfight, you know? I feel like we've gotten so far away from that. Whoever has the best movement within an understandable amount of movement wins, you know? But, like, these Omni movements and these slides, and it's like, dude, I'm literally clicking this guy's head, but it's not registering because he's doing an Omni movement, 360, 420, spit on it, lick on it. And now none of my shots hit him at all. And then he domes me in the head one tap with some random assault rifle build no one's ever heard of before, but it's glitched and super broken in the game, you know?
Next was Vanguard. Verdansk goes away, World War II setting, map design ethos changes, overpowered planes in the sky, bad visibility. And then Warzone 2, massive sweeping changes. They add an inventory system, they add AI, strongholds. It's now a mix between BR and an extraction game. Snipers are changed and the pace is slowed down excessively. Modern Warfare 3, they revert most of that and you have a weird hybrid that's been hodgepodged together, playing on an uninspired large map, Urzikstan, with no character. Black Ops 6, completely new movement system, still on the same big map. There's no ground zero for the players. And sometimes players might not necessarily like that year's flavor of COD either, yet they're forced to have it in Warzone.
Dude, that's so true. I never even really thought about that. Jack is the GOAT for that. Dude, there's been, like, dude, for me, it was Vanguard. Vanguard was the first year for Call of Duty for me where I was like, I actually hate this. But you're forced to play it. You're forced to play it because those are the only good weapons in Warzone. Those are the only, it's integrated with that year's Call of Duty. So there could be times where it's like, dude, I don't even like this year's COD, but it's so intertwined with Warzone that I don't have a chance, like, to do something else. Like, I don't want to play the Call of Duty, but I want to play Warzone. But they've integrated it with this year's Call of Duty, so now it's like I can't get away from it. I completely forgot about Vanguard, man. The worst Call of Duty of all time. Like, I'm gonna be so dead serious, dude. It's the genuine worst Call of Duty I've ever played in my life. I can't even put into words how much I hate it. I hate it so bad.
Many have favorites. Some love the Black Ops type gameplay, some hate it. Some prefer Sledgehammer, Infinity Ward for Modern Warfare.
Who
There's
the
too
hell
much-
prefers Sledgehammer? Come on, Jack. Who prefers Sledgehammer?
I imagine that the dev teams are constantly bickering on what their vision of Warzone is for whatever year, yanking the game in different directions, time and time again, taking one step forward and 3 steps back. Problems and bugs that were previously fixed return again and again. Think about Counter-Strike. That game released in 1999. It's inherently the same game today, one of the most played games ever on PC. PUBG, there's a foundation they've stuck to, still incredibly popular. Warzone, it keeps flip-flopping. There's no conviction in the game design.
Massive changes. Massive. They keep making huge changes, dude.
And this is hurting it on many levels. And the choice to integrate it into the yearly cycle of Call of Duty games is not working. Next, guns. Why is there...
Oh my dude, they made it so complicated. The gun system is so complicated, dude. And here's the reason, dude. It's like I get so upset about this because I just love Call of Duty so much. Like this is my game. By far and away, the games I've spent the most time playing is the Call of Duty franchise. By far. It's not close. And I love it. And they've fucking ruined it. They've ruined it over the last few years, dude. So I want to see it do good. I want to see it do well. I really do.
Over 160 weapons in the game. This kludge of Modern Warfare 2, Modern Warfare 3, Black Ops 6, it cannot be balanced. It's bloated, overwhelming, intimidating. Thinking about all these guns that you have to level up now, which takes way longer than it used to, by the way. Only 5 of them get used most of the time. It just seems so unnecessary. And the gear... There's too much gear, too many options. What's this? RDB.
Yeah, dude, like it kind of makes sense in the multiplayer setting to have all these guns. For multiplayer, yeah, that's the Call of Duty, like, but like, dude, have less guns in Warzone. It's not tough. Fortnite has what? Dude, like at any given moment, Fortnite's got what, 12 guns in it or something like that?
This is a Semtex. That doesn't really look like a Semtex, but whatever. A spy camera? What? So why would I want to take a picture in a battle royale game? What kind of spots people? It's a waste of time. Never going to use that again. What's this vest on the ground here? Oh, there's a different one here. Why is this board game from the 80s here? What does that do then? There's just too much stuff in the game. Too much stuff. Next, the game itself is not really a battle royale.
I miss old Warzone, dude. We were just barely talking about that. I really do miss it. Yeah, it's not BR anymore. I'm gonna let Jack talk. I'm gonna go a full 2 minutes of letting Jack talk before I interject and say something, chat. It's gonna take me 7 hours to get through this video. I'm too much of a yapper, chat. Help.
It plays more like TDM on a large map where there are 1,000 ways to respawn. You get your loadouts almost instantly, and the map just happens to get smaller and smaller until one person or team wins. There are way too many options to respawn. You don't feel the danger or value your life in Warzone like you used to, and that takes away a key component of the game that made it fun and interesting. Warzone 1 struck a nice balance with this, but they've taken respawns in the main battle royale mode too far in the wrong direction now. Many changes they've made, in fact, have steered the game away from its original vision. There's no downtime anymore. Respawns, redeploy beacons that can move you around vast distances of the map in a few seconds, fast ziplines everywhere connecting buildings together, horizontal and vertical. The pace is relentless and you don't have time to breathe. Those quiet moments that you had in 2020 when you were looting, moving from point A to point B, working out how much money you had together to see if you could buy a loadout yet.
No, that's a great point, dude. Like the pacing of the game is way too quick paced. Like it's like they're trying to fry people's dopamine receptors by constantly having them come back into this quick action, just this quick cheap action, rather than like a strategical battle royale experience where it's like, yeah, dude, if you die, you're out. That's kind of the point of battle royale. No, they want you constantly coming back and dropping back in the map and getting your guns again. So it's like, dude, that's what multiplayer is for. That's what multiplayer is for. I don't understand.
Moving on, vehicles. Useless now, no one uses them. Why would you when you can loot a redeployed beacon and move vast distances in a few seconds?
So true.
Vehicles in Warzone 2020.
Warzone in 2020 during COVID was fire. It was the best. I think it was the peak of gaming. I think it's when multiplayer gaming peaked at that point. Like competitive multiplayer gaming peaked at that point, dude. Oh my gosh.
Relocating in a helicopter or having to bail onto a roof at the last second because it just took too much damage from other players. This was exciting and it offered unique gameplay scenarios that COD didn't have before.
I miss that shit, dude. I haven't seen Verdansk gameplay in forever. It's crazy seeing firsthand how much it's changed. I haven't realized how much the game has changed. Guys, remember at minute 6 when I said I was going to let him yap for a little bit, and I've already paused the game 50 times? Or the video 50 times.
The vehicles now handle poorly, they can be destroyed easily, they might as well not be in the game, and the map design has hampered the use of vehicles too. The other side of this is that vehicles also created epic and memorable moments for infantry who were fighting against them.
Oh.
Go on, go on, go on. Oh! Oh, no way!
Oh,
no way!
Jack.
No way! That is ridiculous.
Oh, you got it.
Hitting long-range RPG shots on helicopters and Berthas as they screamed by, being chased down on the main roads by quad bikes, cinematic Michael Bay moments, firing javelin rockets at armored personnel carriers, setting proximity mine traps on the roads and bridges, using C4, sniping a pilot. That's all gone now. Doesn't happen anymore. Yes, I recognize that some of the vehicle systems were overpowered and they could be annoying at times. For example, fighting a truck that can instantly accelerate to 200 miles per hour and roadkill you, but they've been nerfed to the point now where they're irrelevant, and I think that's a shame.
It is
Next
a shame,
topic,
dude.
audio. This could have its own section.
When Verdansk was out, everyone complained about it. Here's the problem. Verdansk was out from 2020 to the end of 2022. It was out for almost 3 straight years with 0 changes whatsoever. That's what people were complaining about. I don't think anyone ever thought that Verdansk was a bad map. It was a great map. It was the only map we had in Warzone for 3 years! So yeah, we're complaining about it. We got 0 innovation. Then they just came out with worse maps, and now we miss it again because it's like, okay, if you're going to take away the map that was actually good and give us dog shit instead, we might as well take the one that's good, even if it's never going to change.
I wanted to include it in gameplay here because it is one of my biggest complaints with the game, and for me, it has a massive negative impact on my experience. I don't think Warzone has ever had good audio. You can't hear footstep sounds until they're right next to you. The footstep sounds get muted and muddied by other audio in the game. The engine does an awful job with multiple footsteps at once.
You also can't hear the direction of it, dude. Footsteps to your left sound like they're coming from above and to your right.
It's hard to tell if someone's above or below you. Parachutes don't make noise a lot of the time, and someone can just land on you without you hearing a thing. You put this all together, and to me, it makes me feel like I'm not connected to the game. I feel like I'm gliding around in a space and not grounded in the experience. My ears are not giving me the information and feedback that I need to understand the environment that I find myself in. And when I get killed by an entire squad who tactical sprinted up to me at full speed, and I watch the kill cam, my mouth agape with what I see, I alt tab, I watch my recording back, and all I can hear, just to check, just to make sure I'm not crazy, half a second before I die is 3 small pitter-patter footsteps. That is an incredibly frustrating and disconnected experience for a player that happens all of the time. Now, audio is a very contentious issue in this game because there are 2 main schools of thinking with it that fight each other. The first school is very anti-accurate audio because people think that if you've got good audio in COD or Warzone, it will just promote camping and players won't want to move around the map at all for fear of being pre-fired or noticed too easily. The other school of thinking is pro-good audio, and that's the one that I assign myself to because to me, I think this through. Which one would I rather have, whether I win or die? Let's think of a scenario. You're in a building, moving through to the next zone, and you have a firefight with a squad at the end of a corridor. You get bogged down. Maybe you take out one of theirs, they take out one of yours, but you're still in the fight, reloading, whatever. Then all of a sudden, behind you, another 3-man squad appears that rushed up to your building and start shooting you in the back. If you had good audio there, you hear that other squad coming and you can act accordingly. You can flank, disengage, move so you're not in line of sight from a specific window, and get ready to fight another team behind you. Whatever, you might win, you might lose. With bad audio, like how it is in Warzone at the moment, that squad runs up to the building you're in. You don't hear them, they shoot you in the back and kill you. What would be more satisfying and interesting to me in that scenario? Spoiler, it's the one where I can hear the squad coming regardless of if they kill me or not, because I would have had a level of understanding from the knowledge the game gave me before the fight, and I can act on that, regardless if I act correctly, incorrectly, regardless of if I die or not. For me, the game would be way more engaging and interesting that way if it A, had accurate footstep audio, so when people are sprinting around I can understand roughly where they are, and B, gave players the option to crouch or walk almost silently, so if a player wants to be as quiet as they can be, sneak around, they still have that option, but they have to slow down a bit and think more about the engagement.
A bit of sprinting, dude. You can't just be full on. It's not that hard.
Rather than how it is at the moment, players just sprint around holding W and shift because they know how bad the footstep audio is and the chances of someone hearing them are low. To me, having better audio and more context of the situation around you is better whether you lose or win the engagement. And the audio is so bad that some PC players will spend time installing third-party software, adjusting and tweaking their EQ settings in Windows to completely distort the sound of the game just so they can raise the footstep audio slightly.
Just
Many
for
pro players in
footstep audio.
tournaments, MP and Warzone, were using this and openly said that if they didn't, they felt like they were at a disadvantage. Some players consider this cheating too, but it shows how desperate people are for good audio. Overall, the whole audio system and way of thinking with it, the design mentality in Warzone and COD needs a huge overhaul in my opinion. So that's my core gameplay section complete. Next, we're going to move on to aesthetics. Now, I'm not going to sit here and tell you that a skin in a Call of Duty game is going to ruin my day, because it isn't. Skins
Well,
can be
it changes the vibe of the game. This is how I feel about skin. It's so unserious. Not that the game needs to be serious, but dude, when you're getting killed by Homelander and you're dressed up as this skin right here, positive vibes, it just like, it ain't that, it's just not very serious, you know? It kind of takes away from the overall vibe and feel of the game. You know what I mean? Not to say that there aren't some cool skins, but it's just like, eh. And I'm sure he's going to get into this, but the fact that there are some skins that are you're actually exploiting the game, like you can't see the skin because it's too dark, and so you just hide in the shadows and they're hard to see, that really pisses me off. If everyone had to have the same skin, maybe it wouldn't look insanely cool. I feel like you could still make it look cool, but maybe, like, it would be fair, though, you know? Yeah, the rose skin, dude. Like, get out of here with that. That's the stupidest thing.
If I see someone running around as a unicorn, a shark, Nicki Minaj, an emoji, whatever the hell these things are, I'm not going to start crying about it and quit the game. As long as it's just cosmetic and it doesn't have gameplay benefits, like the rose skin did, I can live with it. I've bought stupid, goofy skins and takedowns myself.
Yeah.
If you buy them, that's your money, your choice. However, and I do think that this is important to many people, Call of Duty used to have an identity, an aesthetic. For many gamers, especially those who are late 20s to mid to late 30s, they grew up with the original COD trilogy set in World War II.
They aren't even doing crossovers that fit COD. Exactly, dude. Oh my gosh. I just think that there should be an option where you can turn skins off. Like, me seeing other people's skins, I feel like there should be an option to turn it off. Maybe that defeats the purpose. Maybe that's a really LJDO take. If you could turn skins off in Warzone, I think that'd be kind of cool.
All of those games together collectively had a vibe to them. This is what Call of Duty looked like back then. It was the cool, gritty military game with realistic outfits and guns. Yeah, the gameplay was arcadey, and you'd have bombastic action moments in the campaigns and multiplayer, but it looked like this. It had a feeling in the visuals, the worlds, the guns, even the audio. That has completely disappeared now, gone out of the window.
This ain't real life, JD. It's a video game. I know. Maybe that's an LJDO take, but I kind of miss it when it was like dark and gritty. Now I'm like running around killing Nicki Minaj.
Duty does not have an identity anymore. It's akin to Fortnite in the range of art styles and aesthetics crammed into the game. This trend started with Black Ops 2 from what I recall, and it really began to accelerate with Advanced Warfare. Player customization obtained in various ways, from supply drops, challenges, weapons could look a bit different. You had the infamous clown mask, and with the rise in financial success of in-game microtransactions, live service, etc., the player skins and weapon skins are more outlandish than ever before. So when lapsed or even existing non-regular Call of Duty players come back to try the game, try the new Warzone, maybe they come back for Verdansk and they see this kind of thing, these colorful fantasy skins in a franchise that used to be grounded.
They could have done what they did in COD Mobile. You could choose the skins to download. If you don't download skins, everyone has a default military skin. That's actually sick. That's what I'm saying. You should do something like that.
It isn't the game, the franchise they remember anymore, and they start to feel like maybe what they used to know and love isn't for them now. They don't play it again. And you know what? That's okay. People move on, but I suppose it depends on how much of an impact the lack of realistic aesthetic and identity is actually hurting the game. I don't have the data for that, of course, but I feel like it should be a consideration, as I've seen many people discuss this. It isn't some niche topic, and there's a huge audience of FPS multiplayer gamers who want to play in realistic, authentic worlds where they can play a role.
I don't even think it's I don't think it's necessarily like, oh, I want it to be a realistic world. It's just weird. It's just goofy. It's not like I necessarily want this to be the most realistic looking, like I don't care if Call of Duty is realistic looking, but like, dude, when I'm getting rolled up on literally by Nicki Minaj, it's just weird. It's just goofy, dude. It's like, at least they should have skins that fit the Call of Duty aesthetic a little bit. a little bit more. Like, maybe some goofy skins, yeah, but dude, like, when I'm getting rolled up on by, like, a dude in a wolf mask, you know? Yeah, so it's not even necessarily like, oh, we want the most realistic war aesthetic ever. No, it's just like, dude, it's too goofy. I'm getting shot by fucking Cardi B right now.
That would please both parties is to have a simple toggle switch in the options that says,
not even
only show me default and authentic
not even
skins.
pre-watched.
Next, oh boy. Cheats.
Yeah, cheats are out of control. I could just skip this because chat cheats are so beyond out of control. It's not even funny. There's literally nothing to be said other than just it's a fucking joke. It is a fucking joke that they don't know how to get rid of cheats in a game backed by a company that is a multi-billion-dollar company. How can we not find an anti-cheat that works? It's even sadder that people cheat. What do you even get out of that? Yeah, why are you cheating in a video game, dude? That makes no sense.
It's matchmaking, engagement.
Skill-based matchmaking, chat. This will be interesting to hear.
Based matchmaking, whatever you want to call it, however you define it, however they define it. If you're watching this video, you know roughly what it is. In this section, I'm not going to discuss if I think it's a good or bad thing overall. This feeling started with Modern Warfare 2019.
Yeah.
When I play quick play in Call of Duty now, be that multiplayer or Warzone, I feel like I'm being manipulated. I feel a severe lack of gameplay variety. I feel like I play with and against the same players over and over. I feel like my ping is higher on average. I feel like I wait longer for matches than ever before, and I feel like I can't play with my friends. In 2024, Call of Duty released a couple of blogs and white papers explaining how their matchmaking system works. In total, 44 pages of information. 44 pages. There's graphs and data. It's available for free for everyone to see and read. I think it's a fascinating piece, and I really appreciate the communication from them. However, on the first page, it states the following. As the community will attest, ping is king. Connection is the most critical and heavily weighted factor in the matchmaking process. I'm sorry to say, this does not line up with my experience of the game at all. It's like pointing at an orange and telling me over and over again that it's a banana.
Literally.
How can ping be king when there's a 44-page document explaining how the matchmaking works and all of these other factors are a big consideration?
Is this crazy for me to say? Why can't we just have everyone in the same pool? Everyone currently playing Call of Duty is in the same pool of people we're going to pull to possibly matchmake you with. Is that insane to say? Is that insane to say? Just everyone that could be possibly matchmaking right now, we're going to put you in the same pool. Obviously in like a geographical location. I can't play with someone in Argentina. We're going to be pinging out of control. Everyone in North America trying to play right now, we're going to matchmake you with them.
That is not ping is king. If ping was king, a player would click play. It would find any group of players searching to fill a lobby in a server close to them, put them in a group together and start the match as quick as possible.
Should that
That's
not be the way
actually
it's
what
done?
ping is king would be. And that's not how the current system is at all. So you should know, if you're playing COD today, based on the information in the document they provided, in any mode that you play, you have a hidden rating, profile, and analytics on you that are being used to put you in a lobby that it deems acceptable.
It's just an algorithm,
Skill and
dude.
engagement are big factors. You're filling a hole. And no matter what level
It's
you're
giving
at,
you a false sense of actually playing the game. They're algorithmically putting you into lobbies where you statistically are going to do better or play how they want you to play.
you can't see your own or other skill rating in the game. It will always try to match you with players of similar skill. If you think that's a good or bad thing, that's up to you. It limits the amount of people you play with, it has a negative impact on your connection experience and ping in the game, and it extends the time waited searching for a game. If they continue with this system in Warzone and multiplayer, it's only going to get more accurate over time, by the way. It would be great to let players in-game see their own rating and other players' rating for each lobby.
Kidding.
I think that would go a long way. Related to this, thanks to some community members and notably the efforts of content creator Exclusive Ace, they discovered the only way to see some small reference for your behind the scenes skill rating is by submitting a data and information privacy request on the Activision website. It takes a few days to receive this, but it does show you your perceived skill value.
Wow.
There's not much context to it though, and no visibility of the players that you were playing with and against, but what it does reveal is a heavily reactive system that's constantly updating. I'd recommend watching Exclusive Ace's videos on this if you're interested to learn more. Wrapping this bit up, the discussion around matchmaking in COD games has become overwhelmingly toxic now. It's created more distrust in the community, and there are conspiracy theories such as skill-based damage and easier matchmaking if you buy bundles from the store.
For sure. That's why they do it. Because the question you might ask to yourself is, why do that then? Why have this advanced algorithm? Why do this when everyone was enjoying the Black Ops 2 days, the MW2 OG days, the MW3 OG days, back then when there wasn't this algorithm, people were just playing. Why do this? And it's so that they can have control. They can completely control your experience on Call of Duty. They completely control every aspect of your experience. They're rigging your subconscious. When you're playing and then you buy a bundle and you equip this skin and you fucking go nuts for the next 4 games after equipping the new skin you bought, you're like, wow. Like, oh, dude, I look so sick and I'm going nuts right now. Oh, this was awesome. It's like subconsciously you're having such a great time. They were just putting you in easier lobbies. They were controlling it. They were literally controlling it so that you were in easier lobbies, dude. That's why. They want total control of your experience on the damn game. It sucks, dude. It sucks.
Also figure out ways constantly to subvert these systems through various methods. I don't know what the answer is here, but for this section, I'll leave you with this. The notion of an old school, casual, and unfiltered multiplayer experience has gone. Every match, regardless of your skill, is essentially a ranked match with no rank progression, and no context of how and why you performed the way you did. You should know that you're always playing ranked, but it's just not called that. I feel like Call of Duty has forgotten that it's a toy to be played with, and their matchmaking system is designed to manipulate you and keep you playing for longer. Next, bugs. Honestly, there's been so many bugs with Warzone that there's no point documenting them all. Every game has them. It just seems that Warzone has way more than average and they take longer to fix. There's been a notable pattern too that when there are problems with the store, they're often fixed sooner in a much quicker fashion.
Yeah, they fix the store way quicker than any actual bugs within the game. For sure they do.
I think it's important that we talk about trust as well. Call of Duty has been having a very hard time with this over the last 2 years or so, I would say. And it would appear on the surface that trust within the fan base and vocal community is at an all-time low. On almost every social media post or YouTube video, there is a slew of negative comments and sentiment. Sometimes even community notes. It mainly revolves around fixing the game, the cheating situation, and focusing on selling bundles and event passes instead of addressing problems with the game. The recent Squid Game event is an example of that. It gives the impression that their priorities are not in the right place. I also mentioned the thing about store errors too in the bug section that are promptly fixed. Other bad examples that soured trust are like during Warzone 2 when DMZ was being updated still. They sold store bundles that gave you pretty big gameplay advantages like always spawning in at the start of a round with a UAV.
I remember that.
Makes people wonder what else could be going on behind the scenes. Generally, speaking about microtransactions too, Call of Duty feels like it crams so much of that down your throat nowadays that you get sick of the taste. The battle passes, the store, black cell, events, skins, collabs, paid for passes in your face as soon as you boot up the game. It's way too focused on the business and engagement side of things, and I think it's really starting to have a negative impact on the gameplay and player base.
It's been negative for 4 years,
Trust is important, and the only way out of this is to start actually delivering good updates and fixes. Shift the focus to the gameplay. More transparent communication would be nice too, but ultimately, I feel like they should stop saying they're going to do things and instead just start doing the things and let the improvements do the talking. Wrapping things up, because I don't want this video to go on too long, it probably already is, but I feel like many of these issues that I have could be rectified if they were to separate Warzone from the main Call of Duty titles so they weren't shackled and bound by that anymore. Make it a separate game with its own dedicated dev team, engine.
Warzone has its own guns. Warzone has its own, like, you no more of these collabs, dude. Multiplayer Call of Duty and Warzone should be a separate experience each year. I don't care to use the guns in Black Ops 6 and Warzone. Have Warzone have its own separate guns because it's a completely different game. How you play in Warzone is so different than how you play in multiplayer. Like, why would you ever mix the same guns on 2 completely different games? Like, what?
They need a fresh start and to go back to the drawing board, really diving into what made 2020 Warzone so good in the first place. It has started to become tiresome every year when there's a new COD game to learn, unlock and grind all these new weapons for Warzone, and every time they do a new integration, it shakes up the gameplay too much in my opinion. The art style changes, the vibe changes, the gameplay changes, turning players away from what they knew and throwing too many curveballs at them. PUBG, as I mentioned at the start of the video, it's the only battle royale game right now that I still play somewhat regularly. As of making this video on a Sunday in January, PUBG has 507,000 players on PC Steam right now, with a 24-hour peak of 758,000. That's impressive. In the 7+ years that the game has been out, it hasn't massively deviated from its original vision at launch either. It is still a battle royale. They added more big maps over time. They didn't try and shake up the game mechanics every year.
Dude, I did not know that.
Sweeping changes.
Something's wrong with Activision, man. Yeah, something is wrong with Activision, dude. They clearly know when to deliver quality. That's so true, dude. They won't, because Warzone's just an advertisement for the main game. That is true. Now that's a W video. That's a W video, Jack. I appreciate that video. I hope some dev somewhere sees this. They probably won't. I don't think Activision's ever going to change anything as long as profits are up. And they are. Profits are up. People are unhappy with the game, but they still buy shit. They still buy shit. And so why the hell would Activision change anything? People are still buying the game. People are still buying skins. People are still playing the game. So just because people are unhappy with it, people are still doing it. So they don't care. They don't care at all. W video. I'd like to know what you guys think about that. WJackFrags, W video. I hope that COD can change, because this is my baby. I love Call of Duty, but it's just not, it's not Call of Duty anymore, man. It is not Call of Duty.